I live in a town by the beach, the kind that gets swallowed by tourists in the summer. You get used to the crowds, the noise, the strangers. Most of them are harmless. Families with toddlers, couples taking selfies, teenagers daring each other to jump off the pier. But last summer, something happened that still makes my skin crawl when I think about it. It was a hot and sticky day that left the roads melting and the ocean packed. There were 4 of us: myself, Ruby, Zoe, and Ivy. We decided to head down to the beach for the day. We spent the first hour sunbathing, half asleep on our towels, the sound of waves slapping in the background. Eventually we got bored and headed into the water. It was rough, choppy enough to knock you around, but not dangerous. We laughed, screamed, and let the waves throw us around. But that's when we noticed him. There was a man, maybe in his mid-40s, drifting nearby in the water, alone. At first, we didn't think much of it, but he was close to other people, uncomfortably close. People would glance over their shoulders at him, pull away, and he would just grin. This big, unnerving grin, and then drift off in another direction. Ivy was the first to ask, "What's up with that guy?" We turned and that's when we saw it. He was definitely up to no good. It looked like he was touching people, and that's what was making everyone feel so uncomfortable. He started moving closer, chest deep, in the water, bouncing with the waves. Ruby muttered something about creeps and tried to ignore him, but then he got close, like really close, close enough to brush up against us. At first, we thought maybe he had just lost his footing in the waves. It was easy to stumble, but then I felt it. His hand, too deliberate, not a mistake. I snapped at him immediately to fuck off. He raised his eyebrows, like I was the one being inappropriate. He just tried to laugh it off, saying he was just trying to stay upright, that the waves are too crazy today. Zoe didn't buy it. She shoved him away and told him to seriously back off. That's when he looked her up and down, slowly, from head to toe. His eyes didn't miss a thing. And then, like some sick punchline, he bit his lip right in front of us, with no shame and no fear. Everything in me froze. The way he looked at her, it was calculated, performed, like he enjoyed making us uncomfortable. None of us wanted to be in the water after that. We grabbed our towels and started walking back towards the parking lot. Ivy kept looking back behind us, like she was half expecting him to follow. But the craziest thing happened later that night. We went out for dinner at this popular seafood place in town. It was crowded, full of families on vacation. We were only halfway through our drinks when Ivy suddenly went pale. "Guys," she whispered, "don't all look at once." But he's here. And there he was, the man from the beach, just sitting at a table across the room. Only this time, he wasn't alone. He was eating with a woman, and two younger people, possibly his kids, a boy that looked our age, and a younger girl. They were all smiling, laughing, cutting into their food. He almost looked like a role model parent. But then he looked up. His eyes scanned the room until they landed on our table. He saw us, and we all saw it. The recognition in his face, the way he froze for a second. Not in guilt, not in shame, just a flicker of something, like annoyance. There was no apology in his eyes, no fear. He just stared back, calm, still, like we were the ones intruding on his night. Ruby looked him right in his eyes and flipped him off, and that stopped his staring. We didn't stay there any longer. The following day came, and we all had decided to go to the lake. It was more of a party vibe there than a relaxing day at the beach. To this day, I still regret going there. The sun was high, the sky was cloudless, the kind of summer heat that made the lake shimmer like glass. You could hear kids laughing, music playing from portable speakers, the occasional splash of someone cannonballing off the dock. It was packed, blankets and coolers everywhere. Groups of friends, couples holding hands, the whole lake was packed full. We found an empty spot near the trees, close enough to the shore to watch the water, but shaded enough to not melt into the grass. We got comfortable, playing music with our Bluetooth speakers. It felt safe, familiar. I was fixing my hair when he walked over. He looked about our age, tall, kind of wiry, with messy hair and a tattoo on his forearm that I couldn't quite make out. He came up smiling, confident, and he asked me out, right in front of everyone. He wasn't rude. It was just weirdly bold. I tried to laugh it off, but told him no, that I'm good. Though his smile didn't fade, but something in his eyes did. He just nodded once and said, "Your loss," and then walked away. I turned to the girls with a shocked face, and everyone laughed, except for Ivy. We asked her what was wrong, and she said that boy. He was the one that was eating dinner with the creep last night. His son. None of us took much notice of the family last night. We were too focused on the man. But now it felt odd. I tried not to think about it too much, but it still felt out of place. An hour later, all four of us were in the lake. The water was warm, and though we swam past the floating dock, it was still shallow enough to stand, and for a moment, it was peaceful. I was floating on my back, watching the clouds when something yanked me under. I didn't even get a chance to scream. I was just gone, like something had snapped me into the dark. At first I thought it was a friend messing around, but when I tried to come up for air, I couldn't. I felt the hands, not playful, just holding me in place, making sure I couldn't get back up. Panic exploded in my chest. I kicked. I twisted. My lungs screamed for air. I couldn't see clearly, just bubbles, and the shape of someone's arm forcing me down. I tried to claw at them, but they were stronger, steady. Then I saw the tattoo, the one on the boy's arm, and I remembered thinking, this is how it happens. This is how I die, drowning in this lake, with no one to help me. Then it stopped. I was assisted by a second set of hands. I was pulled up fast. My head broke the surface of the water, and I gasped so hard it hurt. I choked, coughed, and clung to whoever grabbed me. And it was Ruby. Her face was white with panic. He surfaced next to us, the same guy who asked me out. His eyes were wild, unfocused. He didn't say anything, just stared. Zoe and Ivy swam over, and before I could even process what was happening, Zoe punched him, right in the jaw. He stumbled in the water, and the others piled in, screaming, splashing. People on the shore noticed. Someone yelled out for help. He tried to swim away, but Zoe caught his arm and held on. A man on a kayak came over to help. The guy thrashed like an animal, shouting something about it being an accident, about me slipping. But no one believed him. Not long after, the police arrived. They cuffed him right there on the shore, soaking wet, and he was bleeding from the nose. I sat wrapped in a towel, shivering, even though it was still 100 degrees outside. I couldn't stop shaking. My hair dripped down my back. My chest felt crushed, like I hadn't fully come up for air yet. He was arrested, taken away to the back of a squad car, staring out the window like he didn't understand why everyone was so upset. I was trying to push the whole thing out of my mind, but then I heard a commotion, a man's voice shouting, and there he was, the man from the beach. He started yelling and pointing, accusing us of attacking his son. My friend screamed back, telling him what he was doing at the beach yesterday, how he was disgusting and making everyone uncomfortable. But the police couldn't do anything. It all happened yesterday, with no police reports, and no current witnesses other than ourselves. They just escorted him away. What is wrong with that family? I can't stand tourists anymore. I wish they all stayed out of my town. Now, I look forward toward the winters, the quiet, the emptiness. It's the one time of year when our town feels peaceful, isolated from people like that family. It feels like the only time I can truly be free.